just be walking or actually lifting some weights, you're gonna feel the adaptation of starting a new habit, and whether it be financially, dedicating yourself, like spiritually, physically, you're gonna have to go through new barriers of and really test yourself to who you're gonna be. Whether that when that confrontation comes up of staying your old path or becoming a new person, as far as skill set goes, you're going to have to dedicate yourself and stick to the plan when stuff gets tough. And let me see if I can get Jonathan back. All right. We should be loading up over here. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened, but
Yeah,
we're back at it.
back at it.
Yeah, but like I was saying, even if it's coming down to working out, those first few weeks are going to be tough. You're going to have to really dedicate yourself to becoming a better version of yourself and staying dedicated to the plan. When your body feels sore and it's your mind's telling you don't get back out there, just chill in your bed for a little bit, you're gonna really be tested. So
I'm about
no
to
matter
get
what it is,
I'm about to get super deep right now.
let's do it.
So there's two parts of your brain, right?
Yep.
There's subconscious and conscious. Everyone in your subconscious mind, that's where you have what's called limiting beliefs.
Yep.
It's basically these opinions and thoughts of based off your past childhood traumas, experiences, and then you have your conscious part of the brain. The conscious part of the brain is basically 10% of the brain that pretty much states the facts.
Yep.
Whereas the subconscious part, those are your limiting beliefs. You have these doubts, and that's what makes you kind of like feel like maybe I shouldn't do this, or maybe I should do this, or if I do this, then it's not going to work out, or if I do, and then while you're still thinking, you're doing nothing. So
Exactly.
as you're not doing nothing, you're still stuck in the same situation where you're at. So you have to basically tell your mind, your conscious mind, what's real and what isn't real. And if there's those opinions that aren't facts, and that's where you have to basically tell your mind to get to the place that you want to get to. So with the cost of waiting, I was just kind of running the numbers. If you wanted to, let's say you wanted to retire a millionaire at an 8% return of investment by 65, this is the crazy thing about the cost of waiting. So at age 30, if you were to start just saving $436 a month, you would save at an 8% rate of return, and that would get you to be a millionaire. Okay.
Gotcha.
So at age 35, just 5 years later, you decide to wait. Now the cost has jumped up to 671. Now
Gotcha.
let's just 5 more years. And you're at age 40. The cost is $1,052. At
Mm.
age 45, it's almost jumped up to $2,000. At age 50, it's almost $3,000. Age 55 is almost $6,000. At age 60, it's $13,000.
Wow.
And then age 65, it's just not mathematically possible. So that's the crazy thing when it comes to the cost of waiting. People just keep thinking like, oh, I'll just like with everything going on with cost of inflation and oh, I'll just take care of this later. But like I said, doing nothing still has a response of, and it's still you're not getting to the results of where you're trying to get to. Like when I think about everything that I've learned, it's like, man, I wish I knew. Like, do you ever think about that? Like, man, I wish I knew this shit earlier.
Oh yeah.
And if I knew it earlier, like, I wish I could apply it earlier. I wish my family's family knew this, so we could have started doing this when we were little. So it's like me, I have a son, and I'm just like, man, I wish I could have started investing or having this type of strategy or anything like that. The cost of waiting, like starting this at when he was a baby, but
Yep.
now it's like it just shows that with the cost of waiting, like how crazy everything can go.
Yeah, you really feel that opportunity cost when you add up the numbers, because the numbers don't lie, and they
Yeah,
really get to compounding quick when you just do the math, because it's been years of, like you said, that you've been a father. If you could have started when you knew that you were having a son, that would have been the best time to start. But same thing on my end. I actually had a policy when I was 25 years old. I just got one. I was listening to the person that brought me into the industry, and it was written, I would say, a standard policy where you're just putting in the minimum, hoping that the best of the market and you get some return. And that was all I knew was I was putting in $150 a month at 25 years old. I just knew long term thinking. I've always been one to save money. So I'm like, okay, I seen the numbers, what it can do. And currently I was just putting money in my shoebox in college. And then when I found out that the bank was able to give you some interest, I moved my money to a bank account. And then when I find the IUL, you're able to get anywhere from 0 to 10% on average. I'm like, oh, that's a no brainer. I was getting 0.01 or on the high end, like 0.04 in the bank. So what's the use of even having so low of interest when I could just put my money into a place where my money is going to be protected, aka the principal is not going to go down, but it has a huge upside as far as the amount of money I'm able to make. And you guys put a 10 in the chat if you understand that. 10% is going to be the cap that you can make in this policy, and this is going to be an average. And once I did that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to save as much money as I can. I went from putting $150 to actually saving $3,000 in my first year of having the policy. I maxed my policy out because I was like, well, it has limits. Let's see what those limits can do. So I was just busting and saving is real aggressive because I'm like, if I can get more money in this thing earlier, I can only imagine what the numbers could be. And it wasn't until about 2-3 years later is when I found the flip design of being able to leverage not only the money that you can save, but also your expenses. You guys put a one in the chat if you guys have a way to make money on your expenses currently. And if you don't, put a 0 in the chat because we got 0 ways of making money on our expenses. But if you do know a way that you can make money on your expenses, put a 1 in the chat for us. This was one of the only other ways I knew that I was able to make an interest off of my expenses, my annual expenses, other than a credit card. And what do you know about credit card or like how much you can get from your credit cards? Typically, they're going to be right around maybe 1%, maybe 2%. And if you're on a good category, some of these credit cards have categories where you can get right around 4% on like a cash back.
Yeah.
This was blowing it out of water because you're literally able to double that number as far as the IUL. So I was real eager to get started, and I matched that energy by literally maxing out my policy at 25, and then end up getting multiple policies as I continued to have just the knowledge of being in the industry and seeing how the numbers were working. As far as yourself, I know you got a personal policy. What was the epiphany that came to your mind to actually get it started?
It's a good question. So when I first joined the business,
Yep.
I heard briefly about how this works, and the first thing that that I thought of was, I want to make sure my family's taken care of when I'm gone, because that's one thing that's inevitable. We're gonna be gone at some point. So I just didn't want to have like a GoFundMe or anything like that. So that was my initial plan. I set it up to basically, I think I was putting like $100 a month, and I was just telling all my friends, because I used to think like life insurance was just for like you have it through your job and you're taken care of and that's it. But then I didn't know, like, as soon as you leave, it's gone, it expires. So for me, it was like, yeah, I want to make sure I have something that's permanent. So I got a $100 policy, and then it wasn't until I got introduced to a strategy where you can utilize this in a way to for like tax-free retirement, or even like you were talking about, like using it for your expenses to turn it into income. And it's like the thing is it's crazy because like before I was doing all this, like I used to be a teacher, and I had no idea of any of this. Like I feel like today, for everybody, I feel like everyone's just so caught up in just trying to make it, like with
Oh yeah.
expenses and everything going on. They're just like tunnel vision. They're just like, yeah, I'm gonna like this, like I'll look into getting my finances right. I'll look at doing this once things cool down. But then kind of to piggyback of like the cost of waiting, it's like you're like, if you like think about it like this, it's the analogy is like when people they like New Year's resolution. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go to the gym, and then they might go for a little bit, and then they stop going. And then
Uh,
it is funny because so I used to be a pro boxer, and let's just say ever since I stopped boxing, I stopped working out.
gotcha.
Now here's the negative compound effect of me stop working out. So after I stopped training, I used to eat rabbit food and chicken and rice and or chicken, rice, broccoli, train three times a day, run 10 miles a day. Like I was a fighting machine, right? But
Yeah.
then after I stopped boxing, I'm like, man, I'm not doing none of that. So I'm just
Hmm.
chilling. I'm watching TV. I'm watching Netflix, chilling, eating whatever I want. 10
Yeah.
years later, I stopped boxing. I gained almost 100 pounds.
Gotcha.
So people, like I said, not doing nothing still has an impact. So imagine if I was to rewind 10 years or rewind back to the past, and I stayed consistent, stayed doing my diet, stayed doing little things, stay investing into my health,
Yep.
then I would have been maybe 10 pounds heavier, 20 pounds heavier. I'm trying to work on getting it back, but it's a book that I read that kind of put things into perspective for me when it comes to this is The Slight Edge. I don't know, have you read that book?
No, I haven't read that one.
That book is a freaking game changer. That I highly recommend anyone in the chat check out this book called The Slight Edge.
The
This
Slight
book,
Edge, huh?
yes.
What's the main takeaway? What's your biggest takeaway from the book?
So just to piggyback of the cost of waiting and just it's just pretty much the cost of inaction. You
Gotcha.
can one quote in the book is it's easy to do, it's also easy not to do.
Oh yeah.
So basically what the book is about is just creating small daily habits that compound over time that accumulate to the goal that you're trying to get to. So
Yeah.
for me, for example, me not working out after I stepped away from boxing, I was just like, yeah, I'll get to it. I'll get to it.
When
10
I
years
when I get
later,
time.
I'm almost freaking 100 pounds heavier. So
Yeah.
now I have to use the slight edge and start slowly working my way back to get back to my shape and get back into shape. So it's the same thing when it comes to
Yeah.
your finances, when it comes to your health, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to life in general. If you just basically, like, if you think you're going to hit these home runs, like investing into crypto or Nvidia and just hoping like you hit the home run
Yeah.
and you get a lot of money or you win the lottery, that's very unlikely. So the
Mm.
more easier and subtle thing to do is just to do small daily habits that add up over time, and it'll get you to the destination and point to where you're trying to get to.
For
So
sure.
that's my take.
Yeah, it sounds similar to a book. One of my favorite books is Atomic Habits, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's pretty similar to where they always say you're gonna getting that much closer to your goal if you never stop. And like you said, inaction is an action, meaning you're not going towards your goal. So literally, you're not making any success. And for the most part, we're never really stagnant. We're either getting further away from our goals or getting a little bit closer to them. And in the financial realm, a lot of people will say, "Well, what's $20 gonna do? What's $100 gonna do?" Over a year's time, looking back, it actually makes a nice little chunk of cash. And over 5 years' time, you're actually able to start leveraging that money pretty significantly if you have it in a vehicle where you can do so. Let me say that because there's plenty of vehicles where that money might just be stuck. But a small action is better than no action. And whether that be in anything in life, our message today is just to start because you're never actually going to reach your destination unless you get started. And the best time to do so was yesterday. The second best time is today. So let's
It's
get
like
to it.
it's like piggybacking off the working out. Like if you most people that had that New Year's resolution of working out, they're just thinking like, yo, I'm gonna go hard in the gym. They do it for a
Hmm.
couple days, it gets hard, and then they just give up. But imagine if
Exactly.
you just did a little walk. You start off with a walk. You start off with a 5 minute walk. The next day, you know what, let's bump it up to 7 minutes. The next day, let's bump it up to 10 minutes. And then
Uh-huh.
let's say a month in, now you're walking 2 miles. After 2 months, you know what? Now you're running a half mile. After 3 months, now you're running a mile, and then it just slowly starts to compound.
Oh
So
yeah.
the thing, like we talked about, the cost of inaction is still an action. So you have to just start somewhere and
Exactly.
start, even if it's small.
And one of the biggest things a lot of people do, especially like working out, get yourself a accountability partner, or even just utilize the people on your social media and say, "Hey, I'm gonna do this. Be one, be a friend, and help me stick to my plan, whatever it is. Whether it's read 10 pages a day, save $100 a paycheck, whatever the goal is." let it be known to someone else, so then that you can start holding yourself accountable, so you could get that much better. Whether it is the smallest action, the best time to start is today. So that's definitely a truth right there.
I think I might need to have you as my accountability partner for the gym.
There we go. I'm down. I'm down to do that. We could post it, and that's the one way to be transparent, is to put it out there, and let them know that you actually been. And shoot, I'm down to do that. I'm Catholic. We do Lent, to where you typically give something up, but I like to give something up and try to do a positive attribute. So not be lazy anymore. So my two things were giving up alcohol for 40 days, and then the other one, and the positive trait that I was working on, was go to the gym 40 straight days, and I've held my word to that one. So we can get up on that as far as accountability partner.
Yeah. Amen. Amen.
Uh-huh. Appreciate that. Let me see. I see we got a few people in here. If you guys got any questions from any of the posts that you guys may have seen from either of us, go ahead and ask any questions, or comment on anything that you see. We post a lot of content throughout the week, and we do these lives for you guys. So the more in tune that we can get with your specific needs or goals, we love to share our insight and help you reach those a little bit sooner. So go ahead and do that. Let me see. Yeah, but as far as the live, I feel like that was a good quick, what was that, about 10-15 minutes of the topic. Yeah, the main thing is, a lot of people reach out, and money does have a cost. Money literally is currency, and the simplest way to utilize it is have it in motion. Literally, the meaning of currency. So by having a way to never miss out on the value that you've earned today. So put in the chat, we got a few people on both of these. What is going to be the amount of money that we're looking to earn this year? What is, like, on paper, hey, this is what I'm probably going to make for the year. On average, it's probably right around, I think it's 60,000 in the United States is like the average number. And next year, this time, how much of that 60,000 are we going to still have in an account working for us? That's basically what Jonathan's main point today, or mine as well, is what way today do we have of capturing that value of money that we're going to make today to help us in the future and every year going forward? Because we've all made money. No, I'm working right around 18. What age were you when you started working?
Yeah, about the same, like 17.
17, 18. I was heavy into sports, so I didn't really have too much time, but I definitely wanted to start making some money. So in my off season, I would pick up little jobs here and there. But the money that we've made, imagine if you were still being able to make a small interest, let's say 1% on every dollar you've made since 17, 18 years old, when the typical American starts their working career.
Yeah, talk about
Number one, what would that account look like today, as far as the total amount of money that you've made over your lifetime? But
I
then,
mean,
and
I
then
don't even know. It's crazy.
yeah, yeah.
Like just the compounding. Just thinking about that. That's what I'm saying. Like if we knew if we would have known this earlier and started applying it, and then having that money compounding, like it would have
Oh, yeah.
been crazy.
If you knew better, you'd do better. That's the saying.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
we only know from our experience or what other people have told us. And that's why we hop on these lives and try to spread the message of, there is an account to where every dollar that you earn can actually stay in contact. As far as, like, you personally, that account can continue to grow for the remainder of your lifetime. Every dollar that you make, you can actually hold the value in an account, and it's going to continue to earn interest. And let's say if it's 1%, and at the high end, it could be up to 7, 8, 9%. The percentage is almost insignificant when you think of how much money has went through our hands from the start of our working career. And we might not be making too much money when we start. Obviously, our first jobs are, I was working at the state fair, and they were paying not too well, obviously, and it was only part-time gig, but the amount of money is almost insignificant. It's really the time when you start, because we all started a job and have had a career and still have career, most of us. But what is happening with our money that we receive every year? Do we spend that money once, or is it actually working for you in multiple places? And that's pretty much the main message there.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as it is really crazy to think the amount of money that you've touched. You've already been a millionaire.
Yeah. Just
And
imagine at like 16, you're putting just $100, or you said you started at what age? 17?
Yeah, I think my first job was 17, almost 18. Let's just say 18.
Okay, let me do the math. Hold on.
Uh-huh.
Find a calculator.
And like I said, I was heavy into sports, so I wasn't really working full time at all until I was out of college. Well, my last year of college, I was 23, and but in the
So
meantime, I was
let's say you put away $100 for each month, so that's 12 months. That's 1,200, and you were 18. You said,
18,
and you're how old now?
33,
That's 15 years.
15 years. Yep.
Doesn't sound like much, but that's $18,000.
Yeah, $18,000 that would have been compounded every year
So
since
that's
then.
18. That's $18,000 not growing at all. But if you put
Yeah.
it into, let's like say the stock market, or you put it into the strategy that we're talking about, that money could have grown 8, 10%
Yep.
on top of that. So
Yeah, just say on average 7%, and even more than that with the strategies that we utilize. How much of the expenses did we not even add to that equation? Because that's what we're really getting at. We all can save a small portion of our income. Typically, let's say a household, or even if you got a nice paying job, let's say if one person can take home $100,000 in 1 year. Somebody put in the chat roughly what do you pay in expenses if you make 100,000. Let's just make up a scenario. This guy he works in tech. How much would they pay in expenses for a year? Just put that in the chat. They take home 100,000. Let's say if that was you, roughly, obviously you want to save a little bit. You save what you can. You spend mostly on what do you guys spend money on? Obviously, your mortgage, your rent. I'm not
food,
sure if you guys got kids, food,
gym,
utilities, gym,
Netflix.
car, Netflix. What are some other things that we spend money on? Whether it be vacations. I know I like sports, whether that be like golfing, a basketball game. All these dollars that typically we make. In this case, $100,000. Let's say if they spent 80,000, $80,000 goes out of the window every single year. And if just by doing that math, let's say if they were able to save 20,000, if you were to invest that anywhere, what is like an average return that somebody would receive if they were to invest 20,000 somewhere? Somebody put it in the chat. What would your return be if you were to invest 20,000?
If you're putting that in a savings account, it's growing at like 0.0%, 1%.
No, I'm not from Toledo. That's my sister's college. I just rep it a little bit. She had a game today. But as far as the bank account, if you were to put it into a bank, you would get on the high end 0.7%, 0.07%, on the lower end 0.01%, which it's not gonna grow too much. That 20,000 not gonna grow too much. But let's say if you were a little bit more risk averse and you wanted to put that into the stock market, what would be like the average return in the stock market? Somebody put it in chat. I'm actually headed to Toledo in May. She got senior weekend out there. But somebody put in the chat, what would your average return be in the stock market if you were to invest 20,000? What can you safely say an average return is? And I know these are a little bit delayed, so we'll give them a second. We got a few people on both of these lives, so exactly, right around 10%. 10% is what you can arguably say you would make in the stock market as far as a return on $20,000. What would that be? 20,000 times 10%. And this can be, obviously it can be higher, it can be lower. That amount of money, $20,000 would be invested. I'm like, I know we got somebody with a calculator that's watching. Exactly. We would have
You said 10%?
yeah, 10% of 20,000. If my math is correct,
That's
it should be
2,000.
2,000. Yeah. $2,000 is what you would earn from 20,000. Now, what about the $80,000? If you take home 100K and you spent $80,000, what's the opportunity cost on that? What if you can earn 3% on $80,000? What's the math on that? And I know, like I said, the only other place outside of a cash value life insurance policy I know where to make interest on the money that we spend is a credit card. And that's very linear, meaning you can only make a return on that one time. As far as the transaction, you'll make a percentage back, and it's pretty much that'll be the last time you see any interest. The positive note on cash value life insurance is that it'll continue to grow as far as your account value every single year based on the stock market growth, anywhere from 0 to 10%. And on average, let's say if we can make 3% on the expenses that go out of our hands every year at $80,000, that's $2,400. So my question is, would you rather have a 10% return on $20,000 that you can save, or have a 3% return on $80,000 that you spend every year? The money's going to have to be spent either way. Would you want to make a 3% return on your expenses? That would equal to $2,400, or 10% on the amount of money that we can save. In this example, $20,000. That would be $2,000 of interest. So on one hand, we're making $2,000 of interest. On the other hand, we're making $2,400 from the bill money that we spent.
I know what I'm picking.
So if both of them were up for grabs, you make $2,000 from a 10% return at $20,000, or 3% of $80,000 of money that you spend every year. And that equals to $2,400. Most people would select the $2,400, meaning I'm gonna have to spend $80,000 of bill money. Might as well make the $2,400 of return. But I would challenge you and say, how about we think a little bit further, think outside the box? Why don't we want both? We're gonna receive $100,000 in this example for the year. Why don't you have a setup or a vehicle that is going to make money not only on the money that you can save, but also on the money that you spend every year? Is it because we don't know about it? Have you been told about it before? That you can actually make a return on every dollar that you spend, not just the amount of money that you can save. We can all try to save, and it's real hard to grow our savings past the amount of money that we spend on expenses, because from the day we're born to the day we pass away, we're gonna have bills. If we have the opportunity, if there was a way to make money on your expenses, would you want to know about it? Put a 1 in the chat if you would want to know how to make money on your expenses. Every dollar that you receive, imagine being able to make a small percentage on that. Put a 1 in the chat if that is something that you would like to learn. And Jonathan, anything you want to add to that?
So it's kind of like the compounding. Like the thing that I always like. There's always, I don't know if you've heard this question. Would you rather have $1 million today, or the penny that doubles every day? Most people are not really familiar with compounding effect. So with compound interest, so they're going to say the $1 million today. But if you
Yeah.
think about it, with the penny that doubles every day, just for 31 days, that penny turns into like $8 million rather than the million. So
Yep. On the surface level, $1 million looks more attractive, just because small numbers at first take a long time to compound. It's not really, I think, until day almost the end of the month in that scenario to where you even break even. It really goes from break even to way out of the league of just $1 million in that scenario. But it's the opportunity of time. We all have time, and you might as well have it working in your favor. We all go to work to make some type of income, and that money gets spent. But imagine being able to utilize your time, as far as dollars, on repeat every year to grow for you. Imagine if every dollar you've ever made was able to stay in a vehicle that is going to grow and compound on itself every year going forward. Who would like to have something like that? Put a 1 in the chat. If you would like to have a system to where every dollar you ever touched was able to grow and multiply on itself, put a 1 in the chat. Yeah, because the opportunity of not doing it is we simply go about our normal business of, I don't want to say wasting our full income, but not utilizing the full capability, because a lot of us know how to save money, and most of us do that just by nature. We want to make sure that we have an emergency fund, because we want to take care of ourselves or our family, and we got to be ready for when the tire goes out, or when something happens in the house, there's a pipe leak or something like that. We want to make sure we always have a certain amount of reserve. But what about the money that goes out of the window every single day? Imagine if you could make a return on that. That's what we're really talking about today.
yeah, it's like kind of like.
Go ahead. What's the opportunity cost of waiting? Because we've all been making money since, like you said, we started right around the same time. Around 18 years old is when we both started making money. But how much money have we let slip through our hands by not being able to have a vehicle where every dollar you touch is able to multiply every year going forward?
That's literally what I was going to say. So
My bad. And it's really just having the knowledge of knowing a vehicle that is able to do so, because a lot of people don't start a policy or don't do better for themselves in any realm of life because they don't know better. We
So
all
imagine,
want
Imagine
easier
if you
route.
stayed. Imagine if you stayed just working at the fair, or if I stayed working at. I think my first job was it Del Taco. Imagine if I stayed.
Put your first job in the chat. We had Del Taco, the fair. Uh-huh. Yeah, imagine if you kept working at Del Taco. What would that look like?
Exactly. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, I'd be
But
making
do you remember
minimum
what you were
wage.
getting paid roughly?
Oh, I was getting paid. I want to say either $5 or $6. I
Yeah.
think it was like 6.50.
And I'm a little bit younger than you. I was right under like $10. I think it was like 8.25 or something like that. And I was literally for a few weeks. The fair's only in town for a few weeks here in California. And yeah, it was I was literally flipping burgers in the summer heat of Northern California when the fires are like most prone to happen. I was
Mhm.
out there on the grill just I don't want to say slaving away, but yeah, they was working me to the bone. But yeah, like you said, the education of knowing if we would have known about this,
So
the
how do you
the savings.
say someone if they wanted to learn more about this, how where can they go to find either you or me to learn more about this strategy?
Yeah, fine. As far as becoming a little bit more educated, we like to drop content on all the platforms. Me specifically, my name is Anthony Enriquez. You can find me on every major platform. That's going to be Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and for more of the in-depth conversation is going to be YouTube. I got a few long-form YouTube that literally go from 0 to 100, if you would. And if you got any questions on any platform, reach me either in the comments or shoot a DM, and I'll be happy to help you. As far as yourself, where can people find you at? What
Yeah,
platforms are you on?
same thing. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. Yeah, I've got some long form videos myself explaining how the strategy works, going
And
more
then
in
what's
depth.
your username that they can find you at?
Jonathan Mark Mercado. Also, I've written a book about this, the Lift Method.
The
Knowledge
Lift
is
Method.
power, the stuff they don't teach us in school. So we don't learn this stuff in school. You gotta, you at some point you have to seek the knowledge and then learn it and apply it. Because if you don't, then it goes back to what we're talking about, the cost of waiting. You do nothing, you don't learn, you whatever, you keep doing what you're doing, then you're just gonna keep getting the same results. If you want to get that six pack, you got to start slowly working away. Stop eating the food, the burgers and the hot dogs and the fast food, and just slowly start finding a regimen and sticking to it. Same thing
Yeah.
when it comes to this strategy. It's not like a get rich quick strategy or you gonna turn a millionaire by tomorrow. No, it's like we talked about, like the compounding interest and the compound effect with the $1 million and the penny double day. It's the same strategy, same concept. It just takes time for to be able to have your money compound and grow. So you just have to have that discipline to be able to do that.
For sure. And whatever that is, expect it to be difficult. It's brand new for you. Whether that be working out, like I said, reading more pages in a book, saving extra money, you're gonna have challenges. So when those challenges arise, make sure you stick to the script that you had when you first set out to becoming a better version of yourself. And like I said before, get yourself an accountability partner. I know I'm for sure hold you to it. We're gonna get to working out, and I know that you're capable of it, especially being an ex-pro boxer.
Yeah.
It's just like you said, baby steps. Whatever your goal is, whether it be hitting the gym 2 days a week or hitting the gym 6 days a week, you just have to set your plan accordingly and stick to the script. So we appreciate you guys coming out today, and if you guys got any questions, feel free to reach out. You got anything before we wrap it up?
That's it. Just
There we go.
I'll just leave with this. Just small steps daily is going to accrue over time. So
There we
just
go.
just take the first step. That's all. That's all you got to do.
Uh-huh. Like we said before, no action isn't action. So go ahead and take that first step and just keep that momentum. Keep building upon it. All right. You guys have a good weekend. Peace.